श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयम् करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करम् लोकशङ्करम् सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वसुदेवसुतम् देवम् कंसचाणूरमर्दनम् देवकी परमानन्दम् कृष्णम् वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्.
1 minute, sir, please.
No problem. With the abundant blessings of our Acharya Swamiji, we are continuing with our study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita along with commentary of Sri Shankara Bhagavad Pada. We are in chapter 14, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the division of human mind modes into 3, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. What are the various characteristics of these 3 gunas, how they operate, what they result in, etc., etc. And what one should do, what should be one's aim. Aim should be to go beyond the 3 gunas. Then he will attain moksha. All this was clarified by Bhagavan in the course of this chapter. Now Arjuna has got a question. Now, when you say that somebody has to go, one has to go beyond the 3 gunas, then he will attain moksha. What are the steps? What is the method of going beyond the 3 gunas? And how will one know that he has already crossed or not? This was the question. Now that question we will see now. Arjuna uvacha kairlingai strin gunanetan atito bhavati prabho kimachara kasam shaitan strin gunan ativartate. 3 questions he is asking. Etan trin gunas, these 3 gunas, these 3 qualities of mind, kairlingaihi atitaha bhavati. How would one know? Linga is sign. What are the signs? Kairlingaihi. What are the signs by which one would know that he has crossed the 3 gunas? Kairlingaihi etan trin gunan atitaha bhavati. How would one know? What are the indications? Hey Prabhu, kim achara katham chaitan strin gunan ativartate. Next question, 3 questions he is asking. Second question is, kim achara, what is his conduct? What are the indications? First question. Second question, what is his conduct? How is he different from a normal person? Katham cha etan trin gunan ativartate. How does he go beyond, transcend these 3 gunas? That is the third question. So 3 questions he is asking. This is described as Gunatitasya Lakshanam, Gunatitatva Upayam. The first 2 questions are coming under the category of Gunatitasya Lakshanam, the characteristic which characterizes one who has transcended the 3 gunas. Second is Gunatitatva Upayam. What is the method by which one will attain Gunatitatva, that is transcending the 3 gunas? That is how Shankara describes this. Bhagavan is giving a reply. Shri Bhagavan uvacha prakashancha pravrittincha mohamevacha pandava nadveshti sampravrittani nanivrittani kankshati. Kairlingaihi, what are the indications? No, he is giving the indications. He normally passes through 3 gunas, isn't it? And what are the lakshanas of the 3 gunas? We have seen before. So when these 3 gunas operate in the mind, because as long as your body is alive, as long as your mind is alive, one of these 3 gunas will catch hold of the mind. So what are the 3 indications of which guna is operating. The three indications are prakasham, pravritti, moham. Prakasham is light, light of jnana. Pravritti is a tendency to keep on acting. That is pravritti. Moha is delusion, confusing right with wrong. So that is moha. So you will be in one of these three states of mind, depending on whether you are in sattva, rajas, and tamas. Then when your mind is in these three gunas, how you will consider these three gunas, how you will operate. Na dveshti sampravrittani, na nivrittani kankshati. This is the difference between a jnani and an ordinary person. The jnani sampravrittani na dveshti. When tamoguna comes, arere, tamoguna has come. He will not feel like that. He doesn't hate. Whichever guna comes, whether it is prakasha, pravritti, or moha, he does not hate. He is in an equanimous state. Na nivritta nikankshati. Sattva comes and goes. Arere, sattva has come and gone. I am now descended into rajoguna. That is not the feeling. Kankshati means he expects, he desires. He desires once sattva guna leaves him. Any guna leaves him. Once any guna leaves him, na nivrittani kankshati, nivrittani na kankshati. Once these three gunas take leave of him, he does not look for those gunas. Once these three gunas take over, he does not hate. So he has no hate, he has no desire. That is the basic qualification of a jnani. So when these gunas operate, he has the same attitude towards these three gunas. He distinguishes his personality from these three gunas. These three gunas are operating in the mind for a certain purpose. Once the purpose is fulfilled, that guna will take leave of him. He knows that. So, those purposes are all dharmic, not adharmic. All these purposes for which these three gunas come, they fulfill certain dharma requirements. Sattva guna is obvious. Rajoguna, sometimes you have to indulge in some activity. An acharya, a jnani becomes an acharya. Then he has to deal with the public. That is rajoguna. Then similarly, he has also to sleep for some time. That is tamoguna. So when these things happen, he does not bother. He is an equanimous state. So what is his state of mind? Shankara describes. Atma is the only experience. Bondages from the three gunas do not bother him. They are absent. The sage, one more point he makes. Prakasham cha sattva karyam, pravrittim cha rajah karyam, mohameva cha tamah karyam, yatetani nadveshti sampravrittani, samyak vishaya bhavena udhrutani. These things, when they happen, his mind is still in Atma, Atmajnana. He does not think like an ordinary person thinks. Mama tamadaha pratyaha jataha tena aham mudhaha. I have now got into the clutches of tamoguna, so I am foolish, I am confused. Tatha rajati pravrittihi mama utpanna dukhatmika. I have come to the clutches of rajoguna, so I am now passing through pain. तेन अहम रजसा प्रवर्तितः प्रचलितः स्वरूपात्. So I have been disturbed from my आत्मस्वरूप. कष्टं मम वर्तते यः अयं मत्स्वरूप अवस्थानात् भ्रंशः. Because I have been disturbed from my Atmaswarupa, I feel that pain. This is the normal reaction. He does not have this reaction. What reaction he does not have, he is listing. तथा सात्विकः गुणः प्रकाशात्मा मां विवेकित्वम् आपादयन् सुखेन च सञ्जयन् बध्नाति. When sattva takes over, I feel a special kind of pleasure, but I don't want to get bound by that pleasure. Now, whether anyone else would know, that is the second question which Shankara raises himself and answers that question. Whether you have an equanimity in mind or whether you are acting like a normal person, whether you are reacting to those gunas as a normal person. When you are in Sattva you operate like a Sattva person. When you are in Raja you operate like a Raja person. When you are in Tama you operate like a Tama person. Is it like that? Or is your behavior different? He is answering. Etat na parapratyaksham lingam. This identity, this is significant, this indication is not known to others. It is known only to him. Na parapratyakshamni. Why? Swatma pratyakshatvat atma vishayam eva etat lakshanam. Because he is looking inwards, he is attached to Atma, which is not known to the outside world. If you are attached to Atma, unless you are in a samadhi state, when you are in a meditative samadhi state, then people would know, yes, he is in jhana samadhi. But otherwise, if you are acting like a normal person, though you are established in Atma, nobody would know. Nahi swatma vishayam dvesham akamksham va paraha pashyati. The inward attachment or inward aversion, which happens because of these three gunas, are not visible to anybody outside because he is always in equanimous state, because he is in a state of ananda, because he is attached to Atma. So that point Shankara makes it clear that because when you ask what are the indications, or the indication known to outsider, that can be the second question. Without the question being asked, Shankara answers. These indications cannot be known to anyone else. You would only know. So you have to judge yourselves. Now, yeah, I picked up a Niti Shataka here, Shloka. Bhartrihari advises how a jnani would behave. Krishnam chindi bhajakshamam jahimadam pape ratim makrithaha satyam bruhyanuyahitasu padavim sevasva vidvajjanan manyan manaya vidyushopyanunaya prachadaya swangunan kirtim palaya dukshite kurudayam etat satam cheshtitam. Etat satam cheshtitam. This is the way virtuous people, wise people operate. What is the way? Krishnam Chindi. Whenever any desire arises in the mind, they nip it off in the bud. Bhajak Shamam. Always be tolerant. Other people may behave in different ways with you. Do not bother about that. Always be tolerant. Jahi Madam. Never get proud of what you have achieved. Pape Ratim Ma Krathaha. Never allow your mind to go towards sin, to get attached to sin. Satyam Bruhi, always speak the truth. This is very important. Truth and ahimsa are repeatedly stressed in our shastras. Satyam, ahimsa. Satyam Bruhi, always speak the truth, whatever be the circumstance. Bhagavan will take care of you. Anuyahi sadhu padavim. Always focus your mind on the state of a sadhu, the state of a virtuous person. Supposing you find the mind has a tendency to descend into adharma, immediately you should put a brake on that. That is why he is saying, yahi sadhu padavi, sevasva vidvajjanan. Always be in the company of wise people, scholars. Manyan manaya Vidvishopi Anunaya Manyan Manaya. Those who are deserving of worship, worship them. Give them honor. Vidvishopi Anunaya. Even those who hate you, don't hate them. You be kind to them. Prachadaya Swangunan. Your good qualities, don't advertise. Keep them concealed. Don't show them to outside world. Kirtim palaya, whatever fame, all these qualities will earn you some fame. That fame you protect. That means what? You protect these gunas. Protect the fame means protect these gunas, whatever has been described. Dukkhite kurudayam. When somebody is passing through a painful situation, you should be compassionate. You should try to help. Etat satam cheshtitam. This is how virtuous people, wise people will operate. Trishnam chindi bhajakshamam jahimadam pape ratim magrithaha. Satyam bruhya anuyahitadhu padavim sevasva vidvajjanan manyan manaya vidvishopyanunaya prachadaya swangunu kirtim palaya dukshite kurudayam etat satam cheshtitam. So, प्रकाशं च प्रवृत्तिं च मोहमेव च पाण्डव न द्वेष्टि सम्प्रवृत्तानि न निवृत्तानि काङ्क्षति उदासीनवदासीनो गणगुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते गुणा वर्तन्त यत्येव योगतिष्ठति नेङ्गते. Further, how is he operating? What is his conduct? Kim acharaha? That was the second question of Arjuna. He is answering that question. Udasinavati asinaha. Asinaha means he is seated. He is seated means his mind is seated. His mind is seated in what condition? Udasinavati, as if he is indifferent. Udasinavati, he is not indifferent. He is appearing indifferent. Means what? He has trained his mind to be indifferent, though watchful. Because unless your mind is watchful, you can fall into a rut. So, as we saw in the earlier sloka, you have to be watchful. So, it doesn't mean losing the watch, it means retaining the state of indifference. Because indifference to pain and pleasure, that is the meaning. Udasinavath asinaha yaha gunaihi na vichalyate. One who is not shaken by the three gunas, sattva, rajas, tamas. He is not agitated. When some guna takes over, he feels happy. When some guna takes over, he feels sad. This doesn't happen. Why? What is his attitude toward the gunas? Gunavartanta yatyeva yogatisthati nengate. Gunavartanta iti eva. Gunas will continue to operate, but they operate on sense objects. Because as long as there is a mind, as long as there are sense objects, this mind will go towards sense objects, but I am having an equanimous mind. My mind is attached to Atma. Let it go to any sense object. Let my eye see anything. Let my ear hear anything. It doesn't affect the jnani. It affects us. So, because he can detach himself from sense experiences, because gunas are operating on sense objects. He knows that. Guna vartanta. Gunas operate in sense objects is hidden. Ityeva, in this manner. Yaha avatishtati, who is established in this jnana. It is not a temporary feeling. It doesn't last for a few seconds and then you descend into your normal behavior. It's not like that. Yaha avatishtati, you are established in that. And he further emphasizes, na ingate, he never is swerved from that state. He never moves from he is not disturbed from that state. He is not disturbed. He is always established in a state of understanding that these three gunas will keep on operating as long as your body and mind are alive towards sense objects. They do not bother me. I am not worried about pain and pleasure, which are caused by these gunas. समदुःखसुखस्वस्थः समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः तुल्यप्रिया प्रियो धीरः तुल्यनिन्दात्मसंस्तुतिः. Now, this kind of descriptions we have seen before. In chapter 2, when Sthita Prajna was described, similar descriptions came. Similarly, Bhaktas descriptions came in chapter 2. Yomad Bhaktaha Same Priyaha. So all those Bhakta Lakshanas are also similar. So in fact, these three chapters bring out more or less in a similar fashion the qualities of a jnani. So there are scholars who opine that these shlokas, there are 7 or 8 shlokas in this chapter. There are some 12 shlokas in chapter 2. Chapter 12, there are some 10 shlokas also. One should keep on reciting to imbibe the spirit of these shlokas. There is a advice like that given by wise people. Samadukha sukha swasthaha samaroshta ashma kanchanaha. When pain and pleasure occur, he is equanimous. He does not bother. Sama. His mind is in sama, equanimous state. Dukha sukha. Swasthaha. How he is avoiding this experience of pleasure and pain? Because mind has to get fixed somewhere. If you allow the mind to go here and there, pleasure and pain will result. Mind has to fix, rooted somewhere. Where it is rooted for him, his mind is rooted in Atma, Swasthaha. Swe Atmani Sthitaha. His mind is ever established in Atma. Sama, Loshta, Ashma, Kanchanaha. Loshta is soil. Ashma is stone. Kanchana is gold. When a clod of earth or when a stone or when a piece of gold comes before him, he does not feel any special attraction or revulsion. Oh, soil has come, I wanted gold. A stone has come, I wanted gold. This kind of thing does not happen to him. Samalostasmak anshanaha tulya priya priyaha priya apriyaha. When something favorable, something desirable happens, you become happy. When something undesirable, because this is part of the game of life. As long as you have your body and mind, these things will keep happening. Bhagavan never says this will not happen to a jnani. This will keep happening. Your attitude towards those happenings is what is being described. He never said, because these are results of your past karma that we have seen before. Prarabdha karma, which has started off this birth, will keep operating till you drop the body, even after you become a jnani. Bhagavan has made it very clear. All other karmas may die, may get burnt in the fire of jnana, but prarabdha karma will keep operating, which means what? Your body and mind will go through these experiences. Nobody can stop. So, your attitude is what is being described. Tulya priya apriyaha. When something favorable happens, when something unfavorable happens, you are not disturbed. You look at them with equanimity. Dhiraha. Always be courageous. Array, what is going to happen? I have seen Atma. I am going through Atma experience. Bhagavan is always with me. So, dhiraha. That is the state of courage. Tulya ninda atma samstuti. When somebody comes and praises you, atma samstuti. Aha, you are a great jnani, please bless me. Somebody comes and criticizes you. You are pretending to be a jnani, you are like us only, you are a fool, etc., etc. All these experiences are going to be there for even a jnani. So when these things happen, you don't lose your equanimity of mind. Tulya. Tulya is important. Tulya comes from the word tula. Tula is balance. Tula Rashi. So that means your mind is balanced. Tulya Nanda Atma Samstutihi. Dhiraha can also be interpreted as Dhiman, which means wise. Wise man, courageous man. Both ways the Dhiraha can be interpreted. So, these are the characteristics which mark a jnani, a man who has transcended the 3 gunas. Now, I picked up the Subhashitam. A very interesting Subhashitam. This is coming from Sundarakandam of Valmiki Ramayana. Sita is in dire trouble in Ashokavan. Ravana has carried her. She has been imprisoned in Ashokavan. She is surrounded by terrible Rakshasas. And Ravana is coming and threatening her every day. This is the situation. Will anybody keep calmness of mind under these circumstances? So when her mind loses her calm, she tells her mind, Sita tells her mind, don't lose your calm. And she says in a different way, very nicely put in by Valmiki, Dhanyat khalu mahatmanaha munayah satyasammataha jitatmano mahabhagaha yesham nasta priya priye priyannu sambhavet dukkham apriyan adhikam bhayam. Dhanya khalu mahatmanaha. Those who are mahatmas, they are indeed fortunate. Munayaha, they are all munis. Their mind is always focused on Atma. Satya sammataha, they are wedded to truth. Jitatmano, they have won over their body and mind. They have won over their Atma. Mahabhagaha, very fortunate. Yesham nasta priya priye, they don't have. Like here he says, no, tulya priya priya. Sita also says, Yesham nasta priya priye, they don't have desirable and undesirable. They don't have this distinction. Who? Mahatmas. Priyannu sambhavet dukkham apriyan adhikam bhayam. When something desirable happens, do they go through pain? No. When something undesirable happens, do they go through fear? Priyannu sambhavet dukkham. When something desirable happens, why one should go through pain? Because when it leaves you, you will feel the pain. That is the meaning. See, she was in the company of Rama. She was having the greatest of happiness. Now this has happened. So, priyannu sambhavet dukkham apriyan adhikam bhayam. Fear of something is going to happen to me. That undesirable, fear of undesirable coming to me. That fear is not there. When something desirable is going to leave, you know it is going to leave. Then you don't feel any pain. That is Mahatmas. So she is saying those Mahatmas are fortunate. I am not a Mahatma. She is saying in all humility, like an ordinary person, she is wailing. But this tells us how her mind is working and how a Mahatma will operate. Dhanyat khalu mahatmanaha munayastatya sammataha jitatmano mahabhagaha yasham nasta priya priye priyannu sambhavet dukkham apriyan adhikam bhayam. उदासीन वदासीनो गुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते गुणा वर्तन्त यत्येव योऽवतिष्ठति नेङ्गते समदुःखसुखस्वस्थः समलोष्टास्मकाञ्चनः तुल्यप्रिया प्रियो धीरः तुल्यनिन्दात्मसंस्तुतिः मानापमानयोस्तुल्यः तुल्यो मित्रारिपक्षयोः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी Gunatita Uchyate. Now he is closing his description of Gunatita characteristics. Saha Gunatitaha Uchyate. He only can be called a Gunatita who has transcended the three gunas. He has described in the previous sloka. This is a continuation of those slokas. Mana apamanayoho tulyaha. When somebody honors you, when somebody dishonors you, you don't get distracted. Tulyaha Mitra Aripakshayoho. Mitra Aripakshayoho. Ari is the enemy. Mitra is a friend. When you encounter a friend, when you encounter an enemy, you don't feel any distinction. Tulya. Sarva Arambha Parityagi. Do not begin any activity. This is very important. This is only a sannyasi can do. This Sarvarambha Parityagi is not for grihasthas. The sannyasi will never be engaged in any activity wantonly. He may do activities for the sake of welfare of the world, For the sake of welfare of his disciples, he may do activity, like our acharyas are doing. But a sannyasi who is not having any disciples or who is not associated with the public, there are many sannyasis. Will he do any activity on his own for helping someone or for helping himself? No. He will not start any activity. Sarva arambha parityagi. Mitrari pakshayoho. Now Shankara has got a beautiful explanation. Yadyapi udasinaha bhavanti kechiti swabhiprayena. That is, you may be indifferent to an enemy or a friend by your standard. By your standard, you may be indifferent when you encounter an enemy or a friend. You are thinking you are equanimous. But what are others thinking? Tathapi paradhiprayena mitrari pakshayoho eva bhavanti iti. Where the word paksha has come, he is now explaining that. That is, another man may think that you have taken the side of a friend or you have taken the opposite side of an enemy. Another man may think like that by your behavior. Don't bother about what he thinks. Don't bother about another man thinking that you have taken the side of a friend or you have avoided the side of an enemy. The word paksha has been described like because the side, enemy side or friend side. सर्वारंभ परित्यागी दृष्टादृष्टार्थानि कर्माणि आरभ्यन्ते इति आरम्भाः. Why you begin a work? Why you begin an activity? You want to attain something. Drishtadrishta arthani. Some are seen goals. Some are unseen goals. There are unseen goals, like Swarga. You want to attain Swarga. You have never seen a Swarga. You want to attain 100 crores within next 1 year. That you know. That experience you know. You have seen other people having 100 crores. So this is Drishta Adrishta. Drishta Adrishta Arthani Karmani Arabhyante iti Arambhaha. To attain those goals, you start some activity, but you don't do that if you want to be called a Gunatita. सर्वारंभ परित्यागी देहधारण मात्र निमित्त व्यतिरेकेण सर्वकर्म परित्यागी. He is giving one exception. Vyatireka is exception. What is the exception? Dehadharana matra nimitta. You will indulge in only that activity which will help you sustain your body. Only that activity which is needed for sustaining your body you should do. All other activities you should not do. That is sarvarambha parityagi. Then you can be called a gunatita. Now, Madhusudana Saraswati talks about manayoho and ninda stuti. Last shloka was ninda stuti. What is the difference? Ninda stuti shabda rupe. Ninda and stuti are in the form of words. When somebody criticizes you in words or when somebody praises you in words, that is ninda stuti. What is manapamana? Manapamana tu shabdamantarena api kaya manovyapara visheshehi iti bhedaha. He may not use a word, but he may honor you by through his activity of mind or his bodily activity. He may not speak a word. When many people have darshana for acharya or they are speaking, they don't get an opportunity to speak. By their action, by their mental attitude, they show honor. That is mana. Kaya manovyapara. Similarly, apamana. Apamana need not be expressed in word. Dishonor can be in terms of your bodily gesture, your mental attitude. So, that is the difference between Indastuti and Manapamano, which Madhusudana Saraswati is explaining. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatityetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Now, he says, how Gunatita will act, he has told us. Now he is going to conclude. So he says, because last time he said, you have to cross the three gunas and then have darshan of Atma. So he made a distinction between the two. That is, crossing the three gunas only is not enough. You have to be really wedded to your Atma experience. So now that point he is taking up. Because the question was, how a Gunatita is behaving, kimachara. Mam च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते यः मां च avyabhichareణ bhakti yogena. One who serves, sevate, one who serves me, say mam sevate. How he serves me? Avyabhichareణ bhakti yogena. Bhakti yoga, which is constant. Vyabhichara is changing. Constantly changing is vyabhichara. Avyabhichara is no change, being remaining steadfast. So bhakti yoga, that is very important because all of us know how to change from one state to another. We don't know how to remain steadfast. That is because our mind is fickle. So that is what he is saying. So with no fickleness, with no unsteadiness, a steady mind, you worship me, bhakti yoga. You show devotion to me. Bhakti yoga is getting attached to Atma through devotion. What is devotion? We have seen before. Mere bhakti, mere devotion is never called bhakti in Shankara's language. Shankara always associates jnana with bhakti. We have seen that many times. So, if you know fully well that you are only Atma, you are not the body, you are not the mind, and you are devoted to that feeling. Knowing is one thing and being devoted, 100%. That is Bhakti Yoga. That is how you get attached. Yoga is attachment. Attachment to Atma. Then, if you do that, Sagunan samati ityaitan brahma bhujaya kalpate. Now the question was, what is the method by which you will cross the three gunas? Characteristics of the one who has crossed were all explained in great detail. The last question was, how will you transcend the gunas? Transcending gunas is take refuge in Atma. That is the only way. There is no other way. Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. He does not elaborate on that. He is using only one choice. And that choice is knowing Atma and being devoted to Atma 100% steadily. So if you do that, sagunan samatityetan, saha etan gunan samatityer, he will transcend these three gunas. Transcend and become what? Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. He is considered to have become Brahman himself. Look at that. Look at the height of attainment. Bhagavan has no hesitation in praising where praise is due, in criticizing where criticism is due. That is, after all, the Upadesha of a Guru. He cannot mince words. So here he says, he transcends all the gunas and he becomes Brahman himself. He is not different from Brahman. That is why Jivan Mukta he is called. He has become Brahman even while retaining the body. Brahma bhojaya kalpate mokshaya kalpate samarthaha bhavati. He becomes eligible for moksha. That is the meaning given by Shankara himself. Now, this Bhakti Yoga is generally associated with Saguna Brahma Bhakti. Some commentators, including Shankara, is giving an indication of that. Bhagavad Anugraha Prasadajaha Bhavati. Because when you say Bhagavad Anugraha, it is Saguna Brahma. Bhagavan is Saguna Brahma. Nirguna Brahman is called only Brahman. He cannot be called Bhagavan. Because Bhagavan has got those 6 qualities we have seen before. So he is Saguna Brahma. Whereas Nirguna Brahman has no qualities, only Sati Chiti Ananda. He exists in himself in the form of a unmatched bliss. So, whether he is talking about this or that, now you can take it either way, he says. commentators say Bhakti Yoga is an indication of Saguna worship. Saguna worship also will lead to Brahma Prapti. So this is clarified here. You don't have to feel. You don't have to feel that you are worshipping a Saguna Brahman, so you are inferior. No such feeling should be entertained. Saguna Brahma Bhakti can also lead to Brahma Prapti. Saha Bhagavad Anugraha Krita Samyak Jnana Sampanna Jivaneva Etan Gunan Samyak Atikramye Mokshaya Kalpate Yetarthaha. Another commentator says. Bhagavad Anugraha Krita Samyak Jnana Sampanna. He is endowed with the right knowledge by the grace of Bhagavan, Bhagavad Anugraha, because he has been worshipping Bhagavan, Saguna Brahma. So that's Bhagavan himself gives you the knowledge of Nirguna Brahma. Bhagavad Anugraha Krita Samyak Jnana Sampannaha. Because Bhagavan is no different from the Nirguna Brahman. He is only a form of Nirguna Brahma. So he gives you that knowledge of Nirguna Brahman. Jivanneva etam gunan samyak atikramya. Even while you are living, you will cross these three gunas, and then you will become eligible for moksha. So that point is being made clear here. Now, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa is known for parables, lot of stories. In fact, one should read those parables. So very simple, but containing very deep truths, very high level of upadesha. Very simple. So one of these parables is regarding these three gunas. What he says, a traveler with valuable gold, etc., he goes through a forest and three robbers attack him. The first robber says, we should kill him, take all the possession of the gold, etc. That is what first robber says. Second robber says that we are three of us, he cannot overpower us. There is no need to kill him. We will only rob the money and let him go. Second robber says. Third robber says, okay, we will rob him of the money, but let us leave him outside. He is helpful. Let us leave him outside the forest, alive and well. Now, these are the three gunas. The first one was tamoguna. Second one is rajoguna, who said we need not kill him, but we will take away the money. The third one, when he is in sattva-guna, he cannot, because he is a robber, his tendency is to rob. So he says, okay, we will rob him, but we will also help him by reaching his destination. We will go and leave him in his home. So he takes him, he convinces the other two, he takes the traveler outside the forest. Then when the home is reached, this man, traveler, invites him. So come to my home, have a cup of tea. Then he says, I cannot go to your home. I am a robber. So that means Sattva-guna also cannot reach Bhagavan. So he is giving this message in a very, very indirect way, through this parable. Even Sattva-guna is an obstacle to reach the goal. The goal was his house. He says, I will go to my home, have a cup of tea, come to my home. This man says, no, I cannot come. I am a robber. I am not qualified to come to your home. I will be caught by the police, so I cannot come. So Sattva Guna is also an impediment. Rajotama Gunas are impediment, that is obvious. So by this story, he clarifies that. मानापमानयोस्तुल्यः तुल्यो मित्रारिपक्षयोः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी गुणातीतः स उच्यते मां च यो व्यभिचारेण भक्तियोगेन सेवते सगुणान् समतीत्यैतान् ब्रह्मभूयाय कल्पते ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठाहम् अमृतस्याव्ययस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य सुखस्य कान्तिकस्य च. Now, he is closing this chapter with this shloka. where he is saying, because he said, Mamcha yog vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. You should worship me with a steady mind, full focus, full devotion to me. Then you will become eligible for moksha. You will cross all the three gunas. How it happens? What is the process? By getting devoted to Atma, what makes you eligible for moksha? What gives you the ability to transcend the three gunas? So he goes into that psychology. He says, Brahmanaha hi pratishtha aham. When you go to your own Atma, because the question was, people or have been advised throughout Bhagavad Gita to look inwards, not to look outwards. Inward means go toward Pratyeka Atma, Atma which is present in the body, which is activating the body. So there may be a doubt that yes, I am wedded to Atma, I am devoted to Atma, 100% I am steady, but will I reach Paramatma? Because the distinction between Atma and Paramatma has still not vanished from this man's mind. So he is now making it clear. No, there is no distinction. Aham Brahmana hi pratishtha. He is emphasis. I am the foundation for Brahman. I am Brahman. Foundation is holding Brahman, isn't it? So I am holding Brahman. Once you have come to me, you are, that is why he said Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. You have become Brahma. अमृतस्य अव्ययस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य सुखस्य एकान्तिकस्य च. How, what is your experience when you reach this Pratyeka Atma? Your Atma which is inside your body, activating your body. What do you find there? You find Amritasya, immortality. Arere, I have reached the state of immortality. I will not be mortal hereafter. I will not be born and die again and again. Abhyayasya, I will not undergo any change. Well, I may become immortal, but every day I may be changing. That is not going to happen. No change. Constant. Shashvatasya, I will live permanently, eternal. It is not as if this is for 100 years and then afterwards I lose my position. No. Shasvatasya cha dharmasya sukhasya ekantikasya cha. All dharmas are emanating from Atma. That will be your experience when you go through that Atma experience. All dharmas which have been prescribed in Vedas and Shastras, he is the repository of those dharmas. Sukhasya ekantikasya cha. Unique happiness. This happiness I have never experienced. When I was experiencing sensual pleasures, I never experienced this. This is a very peculiar happiness. Sukhasya ekantikasya cha. सुखस्य ऐकान्तिकस्य च अव्यभिचारिणः अमृतादिस्वभावस्य परमानन्दरूपस्य परमात्मनः प्रत्यगात्मा प्रतिष्ठा सम्यज्ञानेन परमात्मतया निश्चीयते. By getting the right knowledge, you know now that this Atma is no different from Paramatma. यया च ईश्वरशक्त्या भक्तानुग्रहादिप्रयोजनाय ब्रह्म प्रतिष्ठते प्रवर्तते. Because you have taken resort, you have taken refuge in Bhagavan, he goes and blesses you. Bhaktanugrahadi prayojana. Yeah, Ishvara Shaktya. He has that power to give you the blessing. So he is taking you to that experience of Brahma. So in other words, once you have taken refuge in Ishvara or Pratyagatma, who are different only in theory, only in philosophy from Paramatma, you have already taken refuge in Paramatma because of these reasons, whatever reason he has given. So don't have that doubt. Because he is the foundation of Parabrahma and you are reaching a state of immortality. There is no change that is going to happen to you and you will be eternal. And even when you are living, you have not dropped your body, whatever you say will be dharma. Whatever you speak, whatever you do will all be dharma. Nobody can question you because you have taken refuge in Atma. Atma is dharma. So, have you ever come across a jnani saying something which is not dharma? Have you ever come across a jnani doing something which is not dharma? You cannot, because it is going against the nature. Dharmasya, sukhasya, ekantikasya cha. Unparalleled happiness. The jnani always lives in unparalleled happiness, even while living in this body. So that point has been made clear. Now, whether you take this Brahman as Saguna Brahman or Nirguna Brahman, it makes no difference. That point is being made clear by Shankara in his explanation. Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Or you talk about Saguna Brahman or Nirguna Brahman. Array, it makes no difference because finally you will reach Nirguna Brahman. So that point has been made clear by a detailed explanation by Shankara. Because this aham, Brahmanasi pratishtha aham, I can be Saguna Brahman or Nirguna Brahman, but it makes no difference. I am the seat of Nirguna Brahman. The Brahmanaha pratishtha. I am the seat of Nirguna Brahman. So you will finally go to Nirguna Brahman. That is, he makes it clear. ब्रह्मणो हि प्रतिष्ठाहम् अमृतस्याव्ययस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य सुखस्य एकान्तिकस्य च इति श्रीमहाभारते शतसाहस्र्यां संहितायां वैयासिक्यां भीष्मपर्वणि श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे गुणत्रयविभागयोगो नाम चतुर्दशोऽध्यायः. Now having completed Chapter 14, Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, we proceed to Chapter 15, Purushottama Yoga. Purushottama, Purushaha Prakriti, we have seen these descriptions in earlier chapters. When Paramatma is associated with Maya Shakti, he is called Purusha. Because Puri Shayate iti Purushaha, one who is lying down in the body, that is Pratyekatma. So Atma which is associated with the body is Purusha and body is Prakriti, Maya Shakti. We have seen this before, this concept. But Paramatma has to be distinguished from this Purusha who is apparently wedded to body. This concept also we have seen. So he has to be given a different name. His name is Purushottama, Uttama Purusha. Now all this is going to be explained in detail by Bhagavan. Because finally you have to reach Paramatma. So he is not tired of telling us about Paramatma. He is telling us again and again in various forms. So he says, with reference to the entire creation, Brahman and Samsara, with reference to individual body, it is Kshetra and Kshetrajna. We saw that. So when it is reference to the entire creation, he is called Brahman and Samsara. So this chapter is more about Brahman and Samsara. यस्मात् मदधीनं कर्मणां कर्मफलं ज्ञानिनां च ज्ञानफलम् अतः भक्तियोगेन मां ये सेवन्ते ते मम प्रसादात् ज्ञानप्राप्तिक्रमेण गुणातीताः मोक्षं गच्छन्ति. Now, Shankara summarizes the previous chapter. He says, Bhagavan says, I give the fruit according to your karma. If you are a karmi, if you are a jnani, I give you jnanaphala. And if you are a bhakti yoga person, I give you bhakti. So, ultimately, I give you jnana, whether you are a karmi or whether you are a bhakta or whether you are a jnani. Ultimately, I give you jnana, whichever route you take. Mama prasadad jnana prapti kramena gunatitaha moksham gachanti. In that process, you transcend the three gunas and you travel towards moksha. You become eligible for moksha. But what is the state that which you are going to reach is with reference to samsara. That is the subject of this chapter, as explained by Shankara himself. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. पुरुषोत्तम योगः ऊर्ध्वमूलमधशाखम् अश्वत्थम् प्राहुरव्ययम् छन्दांसि यस्य पर्णानि यस्तं वेद स वेदवित् यः तं वेद सः वेदवित् one who knows him in this manner he is the real knower Vedavit real knower of Vedas. You say I have studied Vedas, but do you know this in truth? That is the question. What is that this? This samsara is described as a tree, Ashwatha tree, a people tree or a fig tree. All trees, including Ashwatha trees, are rooted in earth, rooted in soil, and they grow upwards, isn't it? All trees. All trees are rooted in the soil and grow upwards. But the samsara tree is very peculiar. It is inverted. Its roots are high up and its branches are down below. Inverted tree. Now, this inverted tree comes, this concept comes from Veda, which Shankara is going to quote. So he says, Urdhva a root which is high up, Adashakam, with branches downwards. Very peculiar tree. Ashwatham Prahuhu Avyayam. The samsara is called an Ashwatha tree. Prahuhu means they call. The wise people call this samsara tree as an Ashwatha tree, which is rooted above and has branches below. Why it is called Ashwatha tree? Ashwatha means, now let us see what Shankara nicely gives an example of that. Nashwopi sthata yati ashwathaha. Shwaha means tomorrow. It will not remain the same even tomorrow. That is why it is called ashwathaha. The meaning of the word ashwatha. Not just the tree, also in the philosophical sense. That which will not remain constant even for one day, even till tomorrow. That is because samsara keeps changing. Change is the nature of samsara. So that point is being made by Bhagavan through the word Ashwatha. Avyayam, but it is not changing, he says. Just now he said it is changing every day. Now he says it is not changing. What does it mean? It means the essential nature is not changing. The appearance is keeping on changing. When he says Ashwatha, the appearance keeps on changing. When he says Avyaya, it has the essentiality is not changing. What is the essential nature? Bhagavan. Without Bhagavan, there is no samsara. Plus, the samsara also is constant. The phenomenon of samsara does not change. The appearance keeps on changing. The phenomenon does not change. It keeps on and on and on. Chandamsi yasya parnani. The leaves, parna means the leaves. The leaves of this tree are Vedas. Chandamsi. Chandamsi chadanaat rigyajusama lakshanani. Yasya samsara vrikshasya parnani iva parnani. They look like leaves of the samsara vriksha, the tree of samsara. They are called chandas because they cover, they conceal Atma. They give a different appearance, these leaves. The leaves cover a tree. In fact, you may see an Ashwatha tree, it is full of leaves. You can't see the tree root or the stem or the branches. The leaves are so capable of covering. So that is what he is saying. Vedas are a cover for samsara. Vedas are the cover for samsara, which is concealing the samsara. Chandam Yattyaparnani Yattam Veda Savedavit Samsara Vriksha Parirakshanaarthaha. Why he is calling the Vedas as a cover? Shankara is explaining. In fact, it is the leaves which are the lifeline for the tree, even scientifically. That is why he says, Samsara Vriksha Parirakshanaartha. They protect this world of samsara. How they protect? Dharma dharma tad hetu phala pradarshana arthatvat. Because Vedas tell you what is dharma, what is adharma, and what is the fruit of dharma, what is the fruit of adharma, and what causes this fruit, what causes that fruit. All these are explained in Vedas. That is what is samsara is all about. So that is why Vedas are the leaves which cover. They they grow so much, they act as a cover for the samsara vriksha. समूलात् संसारवृक्षात् अस्माकं ज्ञेयः अन्यः अणुमात्रोऽपि अवशिष्टः अस्ति इत्यतः सर्वज्ञः सर्ववेदार्थवित् इति. Now why he says yastam veda savedavid, that Shankara is explaining. One who knows this, knows everything, knows this essence of Vedas. Because what is the essence of Vedas? That once you know what is samsara, samsara is itself a cover for Parabrahman. समूलात् संसार वृक्षात् अस्मात् ज्ञेयः अन्यः अणुमात्रोऽपि अवशिष्टः अस्ति. There is nothing else other than samsara in this world, and essence is Bhagavan. Once you know that, you have known all the Vedas. And ऊर्ध्वमूलं संसारं मायामयं वृक्षम् आहुः. महत् अहंकार तन्मात्रादयः शाखाः एव अस्य अधः भवन्ति. Bhagavan is the starting point. Brahman is the starting point for the samsara. And Bhagavan is presumed to be sitting at the top. That is why Urdhva Moolam. Because everything emanates from Parabrahman. Though he is present everywhere, conceptually we keep him above. And this whole tree is Maya, which is the Shakti of Bhagavan. And this tree operates through a process, Mahat, Ahankara, Tanmatra, etc. Panchabhutas, etc. Mahat, Ahankara. Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, etc. are called Tanmatra. So these are the branches which come from the samsara vriksha. And they all come down to our level. So adha bhavanti, they come down. आलतः सूक्ष्मत्वात् कारणत्वात् नित्यत्वात् महत्वाच्च उच्यते ऊर्ध्वम् इति ब्रह्म. Why it is called ऊर्ध्वम्? Why it is called up and not down? He is giving that also a reason. It is more subtle than even time. Time is the subtlest that we know. Kalatah sukshmatva. Karanatvat, because it is the reason, cause for all this samsara. Nityatvat, it is eternal. Parabrahman is eternal. Mahatvat, it is much greater than all that we know. That is why it is called. Anything which is great, we always keep it up, urdhva. Anything which is eternal, we keep it up, urdhva. Anything which is the cause, we keep it up. Anything which is the subtlest, we will keep it up. That is how Urdhvamulam. Maya Shakti Matu. It has the power of Shakti, which is Maya, which has been manifested downwards. Urdhamolo avakshakaha yeshu ashwatthas sanatanaha. This is the Vedic passage from Kathopanishad on which this shloka is based. And he is also quoting from Mahabharata, Ashwamedha Parva, a complete description of the tree. Avyaktamula prabhava tasyeva anugrahochataha buddhiskandhamayaityaiva indriyantara kotaraha, etc. What is buddhi? What is indriya for this particular tree? He goes on and on. Dharma, dharma, pushpasya, sukha, pharodayaha. What are the flowers? Dharma and adharma are the flowers. What are the fruits? There is a fruit na, in the tree. Sukha, dukha, pharodaya. Etad brahmavanam chaiva brahmavrakshasya tasya tat mahabhuta vishakasya vishayai patravans tatha. So like this, there is a description of the samsara vriksha. So one who knows the samsara vriksha is Maya, and Bhagavan who is the cause, he is sitting up and we have to reach him. He knows everything. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Urdhvamulamah Shakam Prahuravayam Chandam Jayasya Parnani Yastam Veda Saveda तत्र तावत् वृक्षरूपककल्पनया वैराग्यहेतोः संसारस्वरूपं वर्णयति विरक्तस्य हि संसारात् भगवत्तत्त्वज्ञाने अधिकारः न अन्यस्य इति. Shankara makes another comment here. Why this samsara vriksha is being described in so much detail? So that you should develop detachment. You should develop a detachment towards this tree. That is why this tree is described right at the beginning. And once you have developed detachment, then only you have the eligibility to know who is Bhagavan. Bhagavat Tattva Jnane Adhikaraha na anyasya. Otherwise not. That is the purpose of explaining the samsara vriksha. Because it is going to be explained in the next shloka also, so he is making this comment here. So we close for today. We have already exceeded the time. Any questions?
If anyone has any questions, kindly unmute and ask them, sir. I don't think so, sir.
Yeah, okay. So we close for the day. We continue next Saturday at 7:30 p.m. IST as usual. Namah Parvati Pataye Har Har Mahadeva Sarvatra Govinda Nama Sankirtanam Govinda Govinda Sri Rajarajeswarye Jaya Jaya.
Thank you everyone for joining. We will meet again next week. Har Har Shankara, Jai Jai Shankara.
Thank you.